Good evening to all staff members and welcome to our Teachers Conference. This evening, our main focus will be on the topic developmentally appropriate practices while working with families. My fellow board members are Drusilla Winsworth, who is our group leader, Kelly Lee, Camille Adams, Andrika Wilkinson, Diana Cole, and Aisha Mosley. Developmentally appropriate practices have been formulated to act as a guide for early childhood practitioners and to ensure that the quality of work done within ECCE centers reflects the standards documented. Therefore, this evening, we would like to present to you a program that speaks to the deficits we have observed with regards to home-school relationships, with specific focus on three aspects of Standard 10, interactions with parents and community members, where the following inappropriate practices have been observed. 1. The ECCE Center disrespects the culture and religion of families, and 2. The ECCE Center lacks the appropriate communication practices. Afterwards, we will then be able to discuss the appropriate strategies to be implemented. After a healthy discussion with the management committee about the various interrelationships ECCE practitioners can have with stakeholders, we were all extremely concerned about the interrelationships between teachers and families. It was realized that much more can be done with regards to this interrelationship besides the usual PTA meetings, class level meetings, and the minority school fundraisers. This was even more evident as we could easily identify faults within the current practices. We would have also considered Boffin-Bunner's ecological systems theory, which states that positive interrelationships between the home and the school positively impact on a child's development. Hence, we were further compelled to examine this best practice. We therefore hope that by analyzing this particular topic for our presentation, that we can shed light on the gravity of the current situation and bring about the necessary change to improve the status of school-family interrelationships. Do enjoy.
Miss Amy, I have been hearing a lot about this developmentally appropriate practice for working with families. Do you have any idea what it is? Well, Miss Jan, before I can tell you what it is, I must first tell you about some inappropriate practices. Let me give you some examples. Mr. Smith was conducting a music lesson in class, and he noticed 5-year-old Adam not participating in any activities. He asked Adam why he wasn't participating. Adam told him he was Muslim and couldn't participate in any music activity. Can you believe he asked that little boy what that had to do with him and told him to go and join the other students? Adam shook his head and refused to move from where he was sitting. Mr. Smith tried to forcefully remove Adam from the chair, but Adam did not budge. He then told Adam that he would not tolerate his stubborn behavior in his class, and as punishment, he made him remain inside while the other students played outside. Well, I tell you, didn't he know that Muslims cannot participate in any music activities that is for entertainment or amusement purposes? Yes, they can be in areas where this music is being played, but they cannot intentionally listen to it or participate in it.
Created using Powtoon.
Miss Jan, come here, let me tell you about the situation I encountered at my last school. Now, there was a 3-year-old little boy named Jay. It was the second week of the school term and he had no school supplies. His teacher, Miss Lowe, sent a verbal message by him to his parents demanding the supplies. Now remember, I said he is a 3-year-old little boy, and she chose to send a verbal message by him, not a written one, a verbal message by him to his parents. Now he returned to school the next day with no supplies, and his teacher got angry and began to chastise him for not bringing the supplies. He began to cry and the teacher demanded that he stops or be punished. Girl, when I tell you that child balled down the place, and his teacher gave him one good slap. Now the principal had to intervene and reprimand the teacher for punishing the child. Long story short, both of Jay's parents lost their jobs and couldn't afford the supplies. You don't think Miss Snow could have called them ever since and known this? Look, I tell you, one big lack of communication, girl.
Created using Powtoon.
So, we have heard of the malpractices in the classrooms. How can we as teachers do better and become better practitioners? We can do so firstly by forming healthy relationships with parents. Standard 10, numbers 2 and 12 of the Best Practices Handbook explains to us how teachers must respect the families and form a healthy relationship with the children in their care. These standards urge us as practitioners to become partners with the parents. Many benefits can be derived from forming a healthy relationship with parents. Bronfenbrenner 1979 in his Ecological Systems Theory points out to us how beneficial the parent-teacher relationship is towards the child in the mesosystem. He believes that healthy relationship fosters a good relationship between the child and the teacher and also promotes academic success. This encourages children to love school and push themselves to work hard to impress both parents and teachers. Children who know they are loved and are taken care of tend to respond and perform better than children who are neglected. Erikson's theory applies this notion in his first stage, trust versus mistrust. As a practitioner, we must be informed about the child's home condition so we can fit in where necessary. We can be the adult to create trust in a child so the child's emotional and social domains can develop properly. As practitioners, we must make it our duty to lend ourselves to parents. We can make ourselves available to be a listening ear to the parents. The information the parents have pertaining to their child is vital for us and can inform us about the child's medical history or the home condition. When we know the condition the child is in, we are able to evaluate the child better based on the child's disposition. We are able to target what may contribute to the child's attitude or performance in school. One activity or new practice we can do as teachers is making ourselves more available for the parents. We can give half an hour or an hour after school ends to have a face-to-face dialogue with them. Sharing a booklet alone about the running of the school will not work. A teacher's presence speaks volume. Being available to parents is simply an act of kindness. This will show parents that we are concerned about the way they feel about what they have to say in order to help their child. This may stir a positive change in the parents' attitude towards us as teachers and allow them to be more open towards teachers. We must also be confident in the information given, so parents can trust us and be willing to share more information with us. We must also lend a helping hand to students who are in need. As the scenario presented itself, we as teachers become angry with children when they do not have the required materials. This can be because the parents are financially unable to provide the materials as presented in the scenario. We as teachers must find some way to communicate with the parents to truly understand our children in our care. The other scenario presented showed us how lack of knowledge of a certain religion can cause a problem between parents and teachers. If the teacher was more open, she would have been able to learn more about the Muslim religion from the parent and know exactly how to deal with the child in the classroom setting. By giving up some of our time and getting to know the parents, it will help us to relate to our children better. The school is a child's second home, so we as teachers must know the vital information about the child so he or she can develop holistically. It is our duty as teachers to find out important information about the child so we can assess and care for the child properly.
Created using Powtoon.
To conclude this afternoon's session, I would just like to go over a few points with you. Positive relationships between parents and teachers are based on respect and trust. Working together creates the best results for our children to excel in their educational experience. Strong relationships must include a sincere appreciation of the various cultures and background of our students and their parents. The importance of solid relationships has been clearly supported by a well-known child practitioner, Bruffram Brenner, and his ecological systems theory. The development of our children's brains are highly dependent on early child development. Consequently, the importance of working together with parents at these early years is critical. Working together shows the child is in an agreed and uniform experience at both the school and at home in regards to growth and development. Ongoing meetings, communications, and dialogue are key to assure parent-teacher relationships are created and maintained with the best interests of our children at heart. Thank you for your time and cooperation. We do look forward to a wonderful, ongoing experience this school year.
Created using Powtoon.